Welcome to this painting tutorial. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to paint a Tau Janwai Fire Warrior for Warhammer 40k. This video was requested by one of my patrons. I did my best to match the color scheme to the photo he sent me, even though the colors now are not the same as the ones that they were available at that time. I think I did a pretty good job matching the color, and I think it looks pretty good. Tau changes scheme for every environment that they fight in, so feel free to change colors around if you want. I'm going to start by priming the model in gray, and for that I use Vallejo Surface Primer Gray. This is through an airbrush. You can use any other primer that you like. I would recommend using a light primer because some of the colors on this color scheme are very bright, so we need a neutral base from which to start. Once that's done, I'm going to use Vallejo model color black, or you can use any other black color that you want. And with this color I'm going to paint all of the places that I want to be black. I started with this color because some of the areas on the torso are black, and they're the hardest places to reach, so you need to paint those first. Remember that all of the colors that I'm using on this video are thinned down with a little bit of water, and it's important to thin them down because that way they don't obstruct detail and they cover a lot smoother. Once that's done, I'm going to use Zandri dust, and with this color I'm going to base coat all of the cloth around the Fire Warrior. This is going to be the second most inner color that I need to paint because it's hard to reach underneath the shoulder pad and things like that, so just make sure to give the clothes a little base coat with this color. Once that's done, I'm going to use Gorthor brown, and with this color I'm going to paint all of the armor around the model. Be careful because with this layer paint it doesn't cover that well as you might think, so you might need a couple layers. So I give it two, just give it one quick pass, and it doesn't matter if it looks a little bit patchy, just let it dry. Once it's dry, give it a second one and it should look fine. Once that's done, I'm going to continue blocking colors. For that I'm going to use the Fang, and this color is going to be to paint all of the skin around the model. In this case it's only the feet, so it's very fast. Once that's done, I'm going to use Rhinox hide, and with this color I'm going to paint the hoofs on the feet, and any other part that looks like this you can use this color. Once that's done, I'm going to use Balthasar gold, and this is the last color that I'm going to use to completely cover the miniature with color. And this is only for the symbols here and there. Any small details that you would like to look a little shiny gold or brass color, I'm going to use this color for it. Once it's done, I'm going to cover the Zandri dust parts with Ushabti bone. And this is because we use Ushabti bone to clean up the places that are adjacent to the black, because they're hard to cover with just Ushabti bone. And I'm going to use this color to cover completely the Zandri dust again and make a brighter bone color to paint the cloth of this miniature. Next, I'm going to use Agrax Earthshade, and with this color I'm going to wash all of the recesses around the model with a fine detail brush. This is a little bit time consuming if you're trying to be careful, just to get these very crevices instead of shading the whole thing. You can shade the whole thing, but that means you're going to have to come back and repaint those parts that you painted over. But this way it's going to save you time in the long run. I'm using this, of course, for the gold, the brown, and only the edges of the cloth where it meets the armor. Next, I'm going to use Dark Reaper, and with this color I'm going to edge highlight all of the black around the model. This will make a very cool black that is going to look better than just gray, and it's going to be a good contrast against the warmer brown tones of the armor. It's going to look very good instead of using gray. Next, I'm using Russ Gray, and with this color I'm going to highlight most of the area of the skin, just leaving the deepest recesses on the previous color. And also I'm going to use this as an extreme highlight on the black, just on the sharpest edges of it and all of the corners to give them a little bit of a extreme highlight, like so. Next, I'm using Fenrisian Gray, and with this color I'm going to edge highlight all of the edges around the skin. This will be very fast on this model, but other models will have exposed faces and skin around them, so this will be very helpful then. Next, I'm going to use Karak's tone, and with this color I'm going to edge highlight all of the edges around the armor. This is not necessary if you're going for a tabletop standard, because this step takes a little bit of time, and if you do it in every single model it'll cost you a little bit of extra time. So you don't need to do it if you don't want to, but it looks very good. So I recommend it at least for your most important characters, or if you want to go ahead and do it on all of them, just go ahead. Once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and use Palid Witch Flesh, and with this color I'm going to give it extreme highlight to all of the cloth around the model. Make sure that the areas are cleaned up with the Ushabti bone if you messed up with the wash. And this is going to go on most of the most exposed parts of the cloth and all of the sharpest edges, just as an extreme highlight. I want to go close to white, but not quite to white. That's why I'm using the Palid Witch Flesh instead of any other thing. You could use Screaming Skull if you want, but I think I wanted to tone down the yellow tone of the cloth and make it a little bit more like a cream beige kind of eggshell kind of color. Next, I'm going to use Vallejo Game Color Bright Bronze, and with this color I'm going to highlight all of the places that I want it to be like a brass or a bronze color around the model. And this is a very beautiful color. If you want, you can use Karak's Bronze from the Citadel range. It's almost the same color, but I'm going to just edge highlight all of these places, or in other cases just pick up the most exposed parts of these areas just to give them a little bit of a highlight. Once that's done, the only thing that we need to paint now is the lenses and all of the eyes and stuff like that. I'm going to use Mephiston Red, and this is just a base coat. Just make sure to paint all of these areas that you want to be red, and be careful not to paint over other stuff that you already painted. Once it's done, I'm going to go ahead and use Fire Dragon Bright, and with this color I'm going to just color in the half bottom part of all of the lenses that I want to paint. This is going to be a little bit of an angle. Just try to about covering half of the lens on the bottom part, and that's it. Once it's done, I'm going to go ahead and use Yriel Yellow, and with this color I'm going to paint just a little dot on the bottom right part of the lens, trying to follow an angle from where the light comes, and I'm going to just color the bottom right in the case of the lenses. And to finish these areas off, I'm just going to use white, Vallejo model color white, and just put a little dot of white on the opposite side, the top left in the case of the lenses, and just put a little dot in there as best as you can, and it'll simulate a reflection of light. Once that's done, I'm going to use Temple Guard Blue, and with this color I'm going to paint all of the symbols around the model. This is a little bit complicated. Just thin down your paint a little bit more than usual, and just paint this color trying to replicate the patterns that you see on the art, but it's going to be hard to get those hard edges on those symbols, so you're going to have to go back and forth with the brown color, the Gorthor brown, and clean up the edges and go back and forth. And if you mess up, just make sure to use thin paint, and you'll do fine. And this is the finished model. I have to say I had a lot of fun painting this model. It turned out better than I thought it would look, and I'm very happy with the way it turned out. This video was made as a perk for one of my patron supporters, so thank you very much for being my patron, and this model will go to you shortly. And that's it. I hope you found this video entertaining and helpful, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. If you have any suggestions of what kind of video I should do next or what should I paint next, feel free to post it too. And if you would like to support the channel, please like, comment and subscribe. That's pretty standard, and that's the way you can help me spread out the word about the channel and more people can find it that way. There's also a Patreon if you want to become a patron, and you can click the notification bell to get notified each time I upload a video. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you on the next video. You stayed. Great. Thank you very much for supporting my channel, and if you would like to become a patron, there is a link to my Patreon page in the description below. Your contributions help pay for my work and keeps the channel going. A single $1 a month is more than enough, and you can cancel at any time. If you can't, don't worry, you can support my channel by simply watching my videos and sharing them with your friends. Thank you for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.